Welcome back to Property Play. I'm your host, Elena Saradidis, and today I'm with Jeff Slightham. He is the broker of record here at Royal LePage Signature. Are you the biggest Royal LePage franchise?
We are the biggest Royal LePage franchise at the moment, yes.
So if there was anyone to ask any questions about real estate, it is him.
Here we go, because I will hopefully have all the answers.
Well, I kind of want to do a kind of deep dive on pre-construction and new development, because I want to say you kind of specialize in it.
Sure. Yeah, I was in it for a long time, and well, hold on, I'm still in it. So, yeah.
So maybe we'll start with how you kind of got into real estate and like family history, and then we'll hop into new development.
Love it. Let's do it. So, what do you want to know?
What kind of got you into real estate?
Oh, good question. Well, my father took over a fledgling. We're going to go way back here.
Yeah.
Cole's note, but my father got into a fledgling real estate. He got his license right out of university. All his friends were going to go work for the big oil company. He's like, nope, I'm not going to work for anybody but myself. My grandfather was a builder. He naturally got into real estate by getting his real estate license. It was very easy. It was a one-page test back then. And that was in the early to mid-'60s. And then he took over in '65. He took over a fledgling brokerage with my grandfather and reflagged it as Slightham Real Estate and went from 6 realtors to now we're at just shy of 1,600. So in a matter of 61 years. So here we are.
So generational.
Generational. So my brother and I are obviously now business partners here running the brokerage. My father has stepped aside, but he still pops in every now and again to make sure we're still here.
You don't understand how badly I want to grab coffee with your dad.
Anytime.
I've told Chris like 100 times.
You should get him on the podcast.
I will.
Get him on the podcast.
He's next on my list. Okay, but did you know you wanted to get into real estate? Like it was the family legacy, but
Funny you asked that. I did not know. My brother knew from an early on. I did not. I wanted to go kind of figure things out on my own. But I joined in end of 2004 was my first year with the brokerage, but I did have to go sell. Family rule is you've got to go sell for a couple of years before you enter the family business. You have to go, be a salesperson. You got to go feel what it's like.
Did other brokers, were they okay with you going and working
I went
for them?
to it. Funny enough, I was at another Royal LePage.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they were like, come learn here, and then...
They knew what I was there for. They knew I was there. I was there to learn and get the ins and outs and all that kind of good stuff. So it was excellent. It was a great experience.
And then why pre-con? Why was that where you...
Great question. Well, the pre-con business really started to explode in the late 2000 and, just kind of after, I would say, after the financial crisis. The whole kind of pre-con business really started to change where a lot of agents started to realize the revenue you could really drive from selling pre-construction units. Very transactional, very much figuring out the online lead generation game. And so a lot of people got in and found that if you invested in making sure your website was better than the next and ranking higher on Google, you could generate a lot of leads and a lot of deals from selling new construction. So for our business, it was a natural fit for us to develop relationships with developers and their sales and marketing teams to help our agents do some business. So that's what we did.
Well, I originally started in like new construction brokerage.
Yes.
I got lucky the first time I ever sold pre-con.
How'd you get lucky selling pre-con? How does that happen?
So this is a different market. It was when people were like really excited about pre-construction and really wanted to buy.
Yes.
And everyone kept telling me, you put money in ads and then it will come out.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, like we'll just try it out. And it was brand new. Like I started in real estate when I was 21, 22.
Sure.
So I put $100 behind an ad and it hit.
How many? How many leads?
It wasn't how many leads. I got an actual buyer that bought in the project. So I was like, $100 made me close to, I think it was almost $50,000.
Yeah, depending
in
on the size.
commission. Yeah. So I was like, oh my God, I put in 100, I get 50. Let's do another 100. It does not work like that.
No.
It's not $100.
No. The investment is quite substantial because it got very competitive,
saturated.
very saturated, exactly. And so there's a lot of competition, a lot of funny business going around in the background to try to rank everybody because these lead. I think the cost per lead on a pre-construction lead at the peak was almost could have gone, depending on the project, got as high as $100.
Yeah, which is low.
A click, $100 a click, like that's crazy.
In comparison to how much like the ROI, return on investment, like we talked about it. Like, you guys sat me next to 2 pre-con agents at the chairman's lunch that we just did.
Nice.
And both of them were like, I don't know how resale agents do it. The amount of spend you guys need to put up front to get a project actually, like to get a property actually sold
Yeah.
is so much more money than they can compute, because they're like, you invest X amount to get one house to sell. We invest X amount to get 5 buyers to buy.
Yeah.
Like, we make more money doing pre-con until last year or
Yes,
the year before, or the year
Till
before
about
that.
3 years ago. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So something happened in the pre-con market. It kind of
Yeah, so great point.
Fizzled out.
So it fizzled, it more than fizzled. I think it, I mean, a couple things happened in the peak of February 2022. As my brother would tell you, it's the 4-year anniversary of when the market shifted, coming up next month. So you'll find that a few things happened. Rates jumped quite substantially. And so it really, the math stopped working very quickly. And development charges, that's what governments charge, municipalities charge to the developer to build a building. You need all these development charges to build more schools, more police stations, hire more police officers, all these kind of things. And so they were charging more. And so all these costs and the material costs from COVID didn't adjust as fast as maybe one would have liked. So you have this perfect storm of money being more expensive, costs going up drastically, and so all of a sudden these prices hit a point that made no more sense anymore. And with rates going up as fast as they were, anybody who was then trying to close on these units couldn't necessarily afford at these higher rates. And so everybody took, hey, wait a minute, something's misaligned here. And so now, and another thing too, land got more expensive, and a lot of developers bought land at an inflated price. And so they needed to sell a project at Y to even recoup, and that's when the cards started to fall.
So the sky is falling.
The sky is falling. It's slowing down. It's not falling as fast anymore. Our feeling is that the prices need to adjust a little more. And the big reason is the gap between, it's fine to have the gap between the resale market and the pre-con. Pre-con was, higher value, right? And so the goal was when you close on it, when it's finished, 3 or 4 years from now, and the construction is complete, it'd be equal to, right, of what you paid for it, or maybe it's gone up a little bit in value, right? But the idea is equal to the resale market. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
when it's finished? But now that, with the shakeup in the condo market,
it wasn't the case.
It wasn't the case. That gap between the resale pricing and the pre-con pricing got too big. So a safe margin is around $200 to $300 a square foot. It was getting up $500-600 a square foot gap, and that's when.
Have you noticed a lot of people, and this is more of like, this has been happening for the last 4 years, not being able to close on projects, having to get private mortgages to close, developers going after purchasers? Like, have you noticed all of this kind of happen now? Like,
yes, I have. I think there are issues. It's about, the rule of thumb right now is somewhere in the high would be about, on a project, would be about 15% of purchasers not closing. Has it been higher on certain projects? Yes. It's just projects that have been people paid too much. But what we're finding is developers try to help if they can to get the unit closed.
100%. Like, they want it closed too.
They want it closed too.
Yeah.
Their banks want it closed. Their lenders want the developer to close these deals.
Yeah, and like, this is like a good fact or a good little like tip. If you did buy pre-construction and you don't know how you're going to close, you don't think it's going to appraise, ask the builder who they use to finance the project.
Yeah, great advice.
They will usually blanket mortgage it.
Usually, depends on the bank.
That's why I said usually.
Yeah, usually. There are certain banks that won't, but if their lender, they'll put a blanket appraisal on it, which means as long as you can qualify for whatever you paid for your unit at, you still have to qualify for the mortgage.
Yeah.
They will finance it.
Yeah. And I think that comes down to, if a bank's coming after a developer, it's one body or like a huge entity that they're coming after, instead of like 100 people that they could go after for different units. Like, it's diversifying their
Absolutely.
It's their leverage too. Like, it's better to go after individuals than it is to go after one person that can claim bankruptcy.
Yes. Yeah. They want to get they don't want a reputation. Nobody wants a reputation of chasing after clients especially when the market's suppressed, right?
Now, since all of this has happened, pre-construction's a really hard sell.
Yes.
Why, if we don't sell pre-construction, or if people don't buy pre-construction, what is your prediction?
Great question. So there's a lot of research on this right now. So based on the number of new units selling or that have sold, previously sold. Deliveries now are starting new product being delivered from the sale of pre-construction is slowly starting to dwindle now, because the peak, it happened in 22, 4 to 5 years to build, and so those projects now are nearing completion. The peak number of deliveries was last year, was around 26,000 new condos were delivered, finished, completed in 2025. This year they're predicting in around 18,000 to 20,000 units delivered. But after 2026, it really starts to slide. So by 2029, they're predicting just over 600 units to be delivered, where the industry average, say a 10-year average, is in around 13 to 15,000 units. And that's more of a healthy market. You need that new product. And so now with only 600 units, might as well be zero. And on average, you have net about 150,000 new people move to the GTA every year. And I should stress, that 600 units is GTA wide, including Hamilton, like GTHA.
Yeah.
Right? So it's, right? So that's 600 units may as well be zero. There won't be enough homes.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things going on in the background right now where we're starting to see the current inventory, standing inventory of units, the unsold completed inventory that developers are sitting on. Usually they'll hold back about 10, maybe 15% of the units. Investors are coming and starting to gobble those units up because that inventory has, as well as the resale market.
Look, I think if you were a buyer in today's market, the condo market is getting, I guess, overlooked. Is that the right word?
Maybe a little bit, yeah.
Because if you could buy it for less than it costs to replace it,
yes,
you are winning. And by the time 2029 comes, 2030, 2040, when we don't have inventory, because 600 coming to market is not nearly enough. Right now we're oversaturated, which is why we're seeing a lot of price drops. We're getting amazing deals on properties. But like a key factor too is not everything is an amazing deal. Some are just good deals because good product still sells.
Absolutely.
So like if you're looking at something and you're wondering why did it sell in 4 days? Why did it sell for almost 100% of list price? It could have been priced strategically well. Like they priced it to move it. And also it was a good product. Like there's not a lot of good stuff.
No.
So like the good stuff gets gobbled. Like it moves.
With rates the way they moved and jumped so quickly, it eliminated the investor market, which was a huge piece of the pre-construction buyers, right? And so in order for those investors to come back, as you said, there's maybe not great deals out there, but there's good value buys. And there are investor types now that are saying, you know what, condos are a good buy right now. The numbers are making sense. So where before, I think at the peak right now, you'd be paying out of pocket hundreds or even thousands of dollars to carry your condo every month, that number is slowly shrinking.
Yeah. And if you can buy a condo right now for 800 to 900 a square foot, you're winning. Like you're winning.
You're winning.
They
Absolutely.
can't replace it. They can't build for that cost. So by the time we get to a point where we need to build, there's nothing for you.
No. And I remember getting lots of calls from our agents. Jeff, I have a client, they're looking to spend, $500,000 on a condo unit. $500,000 on a condo unit. That would never happen. And well, it's happening now. Our good friend Sean Hildebrand, who's the president and head economist at Urbanation, who studies all this stuff, he says the next step will be, the next problem area is that 905 region, the Golden Horseshoe area, where they've sold all these units at these big, big prices.
Yeah, I can see that not working out well.
No. But prices will adjust. It's unfortunate. People will feel pain.
So when we're looking at new construction, resale, the condo market in general, predictions for the future, clearly we're going to have a supply issue. If you were looking to buy right now, where would you be looking?
Downtown Toronto.
Okay.
Yep. I think there's some it's always started as, even when the pre-construction started, always kind of started as a wave. It got so dense and all these units downtown, and then development started to happen outside of the core of the city. I think the revival of the condo market will start in the core. Talking to a lot of my commercial friends, the banks, as everyone's heard, banks are bringing people back to work at least 4 days a week, if not 5. People are coming back to the city. And so it'll be about probably 6 to an 18-month turnaround until we start to see really that pickup in that traction, really, where people are either renting or starting to buy more back in the GTA. And there's some great buys. Like we were saying, I was joking before about how you couldn't find a condo under $600,000, and now you can. Why wouldn't you? I think that's where the real opportunity lies. because the numbers are starting to make sense in around that price point where rents are, they're flat right now, but rates have come down enough and prices have come down enough where it can start to make sense if you can find the right product.
I've seen a pickup in the market already, and I know that eventually they'll report on pickups happening, but listings that I have that were sitting at the end of last year have now sold.
Yeah.
A client of mine purchased a condo the other day, 4 days on the market, and I had to have a conversation with them being like, this isn't going to be an insane deal, but where else are you going to find this amazing condo, this amazing layout, this amazing building? Like, they have a quality product. It will still sell, and you're still getting it for less than the peak. Like
Absolutely. You're ahead.
And the part that you mentioned over and over again about like the whole 4 years since the peak, it's been 4 years.
Yes.
Like, people need to start rethinking, like, we're not at those prices.
No.
And like, it's been 4 years since we've been at those prices. So the market has readjusted. It's time for everyone else to readjust as well.
Absolutely. I think as long as if you're a buyer today, you've got to be, like you said, you got to be looking out there for the right opportunities. There are some great product. There's a lot of product out there. So I think you can go out and start looking. And so you know what you don't want. And so when the one that does come along, most likely, hopefully, unless there's other buyers like you looking, right? And but there's some great product out there. When you see the right one, you'll know when it's great value.
Yeah, and it will end up looping into multiples. People are just slow to jump in.
Yep.
Like, I had a place up on the market. It's had consistent showings. The first offer came in, the rest of the tumbled in after.
Yeah.
And it ended up being in multiple offers when we never intended it to have an offer night. It just, everyone was slow to come in.
Yeah.
So like, just be aware, if you're dragging your feet to put in an offer, there's other people also looking, and the first person there is going to get the best deal.
Absolutely. I think it's important for everyone to understand, as long as you're a long-term holder of real estate, it's tough for sellers to hear this because they don't want to, I don't want to undersell it or whatever the mindset is. But if you're a long-term holder of real estate, you're going to win every time, right? So if you can hang on long enough, if you have to sell now, if you've owned it for long enough, if you bought at the peak and have to sell, that's different, right? But
also, people have to understand there's a reason behind selling.
That's right.
And it's at what time do you want to stop the bleeding? So I've had conversations with people that have bought at the peak, and I'm like, you can kick in money every single month for your tenant to live there, or you stop the bleeding now, move the money somewhere else, and make back the money.
Yeah.
But you need to make X amount of money more when we sell the property in the future because you kicked it in every month.
That's right.
So at what point do you stop the bleeding?
That's right. Pick your spot. It's so brilliant.
There's no cut and dry. There's never going to be the best time to buy. There's never going to be the best time to sell. But there's opportunities in every market, and I think this is the time where you should be looking for an opportunity.
I can't agree with you more. It's interesting. I think there's some great talking points where 1+ dens now are the same price as a 1-bedroom, right? So little quirks in the market where you got to talk to a great realtor who knows all the ins and outs to really see the value in what's out there.
Once again, this is Property Play. If you like content like this, make sure to like, follow, and subscribe.